Hi, this is Subramaniam Shankar again. So this is a series on AI risk. Okay, risk is always a beautiful subject. In fact, the veritable base for the complaints. From 2015, ISO 9001 has also become a risk-based framework. Okay, so and 2770 obviously a risk-based framework, the supporting standard called ISO 27005. It's not it's a guideline document. Okay, for risk. Okay, and as a BCIA has got an CIS or Information Security Risk Officer training, and they have introduced a certified chief AI risk officer 3 months back. Such a wonderful reception is what we are actually having from our students. Now let's look at the categories of the risk that we actually have for artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is a different monster altogether. So there are ranges of risks that are applicable, and the categories are first is technical. So we all know the failure of the hardware, failure of the software, failure of the network. Okay, so there's a video that I had published earlier on 7 layers of vulnerability. Okay, so there could be a vulnerability with respect to the AI model in itself. Okay, if you go to National Vulnerability Database, you got National Vulnerability Database, you got the machine learning vulnerability, you got the vulnerability with respect to other parts of AI as well. Now, coming on to the web interface that is going to overlap the the AI model, okay, and which is going to sit on operating system. There are vulnerabilities on the AI model, vulnerabilities on the web application, vulnerabilities on the operating system, vulnerabilities on the underlying hardware. It's going to be at the virtualized environment, vulnerabilities on the hypervisor. There are attacks like Subvert, Blue Pill. Okay, it's also it was demonstrated exploiting the vulnerability of the hypervisor. Okay, the hardware, then the supply chain, then the human. Okay, so the networks, etc. Okay, so if it's going to be on-prem, then 7 layers. Going to be a cloud, it's 8 layer. Okay, including the hypervisor vulnerability. So these are the technical vulnerabilities that you can actually have. Okay, for an AI application, every single layer that you are actually going to add as a part of your infrastructure or an application offering is going to add on a vulnerability. Ethical. Okay, so you have developed the application with ethics in mind. Okay, to have respect to the human dignity, etc. Okay, that's called as an ethical AI. Operational. Okay, how you're going to perform. Okay, the risk with respect to the operational, legal, and compliance. You have got European Union AI Act. Okay, the only act for the moment. Okay, as on December 2025. Okay, so it's a mandatory compliance yet to be in effect. Okay, but it has already created waves or ripples across the world with respect to the AI compliance. Okay, the GDPR being another monster. Okay, the societal impact. Okay, finally the existential concerns. We'll look into this. Model failures, inaccuracy issues such as AI hallucinations. Okay, hallucination is to generate an AI, general AI content. Okay, which is going to harm an individual. Okay, it's an fake content. Okay, which looks almost as real as possible. Okay, so overfitting, poor performance, real world condition, adversarial attacks, malicious actor. Okay, adversarial machine learning. Okay, is an NIST document on testing your AI application. The ranges of attacks that are already listed. Security vulnerabilities. Okay, well, OWASP top 10 machine learning vulnerability, LLM vulnerability, non-human entity vulnerability, Google security frameworks. They have listed ranges of attacks. Okay, in fact, on the AI officer, AI risk officer, and AI security officer training, we go through all this. So, technical risk, ethical risk, bias and discrimination. There's something called as inclusive engineering. Okay, inclusive engineering to ensure that the underprivileged part of the society, okay, is also included as a part of the data set that you actually have. The output should not be inclined towards people, okay, based on their ethnicity or race or language or religion, etc., or demography. Okay, so there should be a fairness and non-discriminative and unbiased output. Actually, should be lack of transparency and explainability. Now, if you take the deep learning, there are layers of the neural networks that are added. It is not very easy. There are tools like Fairness 360, and for explainable AI is actually a concept. There are tools for explainable AI. But the thing is, it is not that easy to explain why the output of a model, okay, because it is ever changing. The data set, the production data set is always changing. there's something called the concept drift and the data drift that actually happen. So it is not every time you are in a position to explain why the output of an AI application is like this, because it's not a rule based, it's a learning based application, right? So privacy violations, okay, the system actually collect, depending upon the nature of the business. E-commerce companies do deliver goods towards the house to their respect to the customer's place. Okay, so they need to collect the residential address. Okay, so we need to have a consent, send a notification over the WhatsApp or no, email, and so or the mobile number. So we need to collect these information. Personally identifiable information needs to be collected. We need to have the consent. Okay, if it's going to be the primary data, the controller is going to have the consent directly. The secondary data, for example, the processor is receiving the controller, or the organization is buying the data set from a third party. We should be sure that there is an consent for all the personally identified information as a part of the data set. Yes, no, we actually don't know. That becomes a gray area. Okay. Now, what is the operation? Is over reliance or loss of human agency. Organization. Okay, so they're adopting to artificial intelligence. Now there is an over reliance on the technology. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay, because there are people who say it's an AI bubble, might or might not be a bubble. We don't know. Okay, it was a bubble. Dot-com bubble happened the end of 90s. Okay, so the Y2K problem was there at the same time. Okay, the dot-com happened 1998, 99, 2000. Okay, though it was a bubble, but again, it established a lot of companies towards the e-commerce. Okay, the web development or web space had a growth there. Okay, then came the cloud. Okay, now it's the AI. Okay, though it's a bubble, but I will not say everything will vanish. It's the strong players stay. Okay, and the loss of human agency because of the dependency on the AI application. There could be job displacements for the human, which is inevitable. Okay, the humans has to adopt to AI, develop their skills. Okay, because this is something people were on mainframe, then came the other operating system. Okay, because I was a certified novel engineer in 95, 96, but then when I graduated in 97, the Microsoft Windows was already in place. Okay, the MCPS product specific certification was much in need that time. So this is the nature of the industry. Okay, so we need to get adopted to it. So pick up AI and embrace the change so that we can survive. Okay, integration challenges. So we had been on a traditional infrastructure. Now we are moving to the AI-based application. So integration, okay, on between the AI applications and the existing applications could be a challenge. Okay, now the model could be on your own premises, it could be on internal cloud, or it could be on the traditional infrastructure, could be on external cloud. Okay, the hosting platform could be an external cloud. Okay. Similarly, data set could be on your internal cloud or it could internal normal infrastructure, or it could be on a cloud. It could be with the MSP, or like the data set could be with MSP and the model could be with the CSP, or data set could be the CSP model with the MSP. All these things are actually possible. Okay, so depending upon the dynamics of if you are the implementation, the things are going to be a bit challenging. Okay, there's nothing like impossible to solve, but it will be bit challenging. Okay, accountability gaps. Okay, so who is responsible and accountable for the AI application? Usually the chief AI officer is what I would actually say. Okay, but again, internally there could be a lot of people who are responsible, like a chief information security officer, chief data protection officer, chief AI officer is also a designation that is coming up, and there are a lot of requirements which are started to get onto my organization as for the people who are certified. Okay, now accountability gaps. So we need to identify who is accountable. Okay, let's say for the AI system caused a harm this year, we saw the South Korean factory. Okay, the robo there. Okay, the AI based robo embodied AI. Okay, actually killed a worker thinking mistaking him for a package or a box. Actually, okay. Now, coming on to the legal compliances, regulatory compliances, European Union AI Act, okay, is the only compliance with respect to the AI now. And the organization is going to collect the personally identified information. They should be also be complying with the GDPR, okay, and DPDP in India, okay. And then, the Vietnam has also come up with the AI guideline. India has come up with the AI guideline. Sadaya in Saudi Arabia, okay, PDPC in Malaysia. Okay, so these are the privacy laws that are there. But for the moment, European Union AI Act is only applicable for the organizations developing an AI application outside and serving it to the European customer, or developing the application within Europe and serving to the European customer. The UK is coming up with the UK AI Act by summer 2026. So we have close to around 6 to 7 months to witness that. Okay. Next one, the intellectual property infringement. A lot of cases are actually available. Okay, because in fact, if you look at the existing cases, in fact, last week, I read a news about the New York Times against the Perplexity against the other AI players, and Chicago Tribune against the Perplexity. Okay, now AI is still an immature platform. Okay, so there could be a web scraping that has happened. Okay, bypassing the license agreement, which I'm not saying it's good or bad. Okay, but again, these are things that happened, and we should fix it. Okay, so going forward, we will ensure that those the breaches doesn't actually happen. But again, so from the legal and compliance risk, intellectual property infringement does exist today. It might exist for some time also. Then there should be a maturity to take it forward to ensure that this doesn't happen. Societal and existential risk, economic disruption, widespread job displacement is something which we are witnessing in 2025, this particular year. So a lot of organizations have said if you don't embrace the AI, then you don't stay here, and which is okay, from the employer's perspective. Okay, so they need to invest on a technology that's going to save them the cost. That's what they're actually doing. Okay, so when from mainframe, we came to the Windows-based service, the people who are mainframe and AS400 mid-range administrator, because I started my career with AS400s, mid-range administrators, few of them lost their job and few of them studied the new technology, they migrated. Okay, so we were on on-prem. Okay, then we moved to VMware. Then from there we moved to cloud. So the transition from one technology platform to other technology, the better one, is something which is inevitable. This is not going to stop here. Okay, something next is going to come from AI. We'll be moving there. The only option available for us is to keep learning, because we are in IT and we should get certified and upskill ourselves and get on, ensure that we are on the same company, or you move to a different organization which is going to give you a red carpet welcome. Okay. So economic disruption, job displacements, misinformation, and social manipulation. Generative AI, okay, this is actually a problem. If you go to Gemini, if you go to any of this generative AI platform, there are a lot of licensing, there are a lot of restrictions that are available. You cannot just create a video or an image, which is very inappropriate. But what I mean to say is, okay, with these are the very big companies. Okay, they follow a lot of laws and they have terms and conditions, etc. But not all the organizations have it. Okay, there are tools which can create a cartoon or an image of with a very inappropriate content. Okay, based on celebrity. Now there are countries which say you should have a label or watermark saying that this is an AI generated content. Anything which is not with an AI generated content watermark is supposed to be an illegal thing. Okay, but people do not know which is legal, which is not legal. Okay, there is an attack called the deep fake attacks. Okay, which is going to fool the people. Okay, this year 2025, there's a Singapore company where millions of dollars have been transferred, and the account person was actually on the Zoom call. Except him, everybody else is a deep fake. Okay, secret song. Okay, or you can ask a question: What did we where did we last meet? Okay, what did we last discuss? Okay, this is going to thwart the attack with respect to the deep fake. Keeping that aside, misinformation manipulation is also a wonderful attack that has been there because of Gen AI. Okay, and Gen AI, like any technology, can be used for good and bad. Gen AI can also be used for good and bad, but this problem is with the misinformation and manipulation. Societal and existential risk, autonomous weapons. There could be an arm race. Okay, with AI. Okay, now we are witnessing AI based drones, AI based guns, etc. In the latest war, I had seen a country using the AI based guns. Okay, so that becomes an inevitable inclusion of AI into the weaponry as well. Okay, so defense, everybody adopting to it. Okay, we cannot say that the army cannot do it. Okay, they are securing the country, right? Excuse me. loss of control and super intelligence. Okay, with the AGI, okay, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence, we are expecting that to surpass the human intelligence. Okay, and the estimated date or year is 2054. But the way that we are actually progressing, okay, and when Sam Altman clearly said it's going to happen earlier than that. Okay, so with the quantum computing also supporting the computation power, the great speed. Okay, it might happen well before 2054 or 2050s. Okay, we are in 2025, so 25 years is what we have on hand. Okay, to look at how are we going to progress with respect to the artificial intelligence, okay, AGI and ASI. Okay, so this is Subramaniam Shankaran. And you can join us for certified chief AI officer, data protection officer, AI security officer, governance risk, and ISO 42001 lead implementer and lead auditor. Okay, thank you very much, and stay connected and subscribe to this particular channel for more information on AI security, AI risk, AI governance, and AI data protection. Cheers. Bye bye.